Are you tired of walking in the mall? Are you tired of farming old content slower than almost any other class? And are you sad that you're not allowed to be flag carrier when in BGs? Then I am your salvation. Today I will teach you to go from wheelchair to race car. In the background I'll have some clips running showing you the power of mobility in different scenarios. First up is a quick capture in Walton Gulch, and next I'll show you a comparison doing Steamboat Farm with and without the speed build that I'm going to show you here. First off, you have to get the Leaper Legendary. This legendary gives you an extra 2 charges of Heroic Leap, and if you combine this legendary with the Fury PvP talent, you'll have a total of 6 Heroic Leaps. And you can also combine this with your 4th talent, row talent, called Bounding Stride, giving you 70% movement speed after Heroic Leaping for 3 seconds, which is a total of 18 seconds of 70% movement speed. So this legendary alone gives you a shit ton of mobility, which can be used almost anywhere. The only downside is that you have to be in war mode to use the PvP talent, which is giving you 3 Heroic Leaps. And sadly, you don't get the benefit of PvP talent in dungeons and raids, but it's still pretty great legendary mobility for farming old content. And you can have a lot of fun in BGs with the 6 Heroic Leaps. I just want to give a quick mention about covenants that can give you some extra mobility as well. The only 2 real choices we have here are the Night Fae and Venthyr, and thankfully these are both pretty good for warriors. Night Fae is currently besting Venthyr in Mythic Plus when you're playing Fury, and Venthyr is, as always, best for raid. And we get Dwarf Shadows and Soul Shape. And as for Dwarf Shadows, which comes from Venthyr, you can get the Soulbind trait, which gives you 40% movement speed for 4 seconds. It's called Fancy Footwork, and you'll have to use Nadia as your Soulbind. Next up, I will show you some gear pieces, which is giving you a good amount of consistent movement speed. There's 4 pieces of gear you want. First up is the weapon called Rune Blade of Baron Rivendell. This sword has the equip effect, increasing movement speed by 10%. This doesn't stack, however. I did farm them out to check if it did, because the toolset doesn't say unique, but it does not stack. So there's no reason to farm 2 of them. You get this from Lord Aureus Rivendell in the old Stratholme dungeon. The entrance is just slightly east of where the map shows you. I'm going to show you here. The good part about this farm is you might end up getting the Mount Death Charges Reigns in the process of farming the weapon. You want to be giving this weapon the Windwalk enchant, which gives you a chance on hit to increase movement speed as well. Next up, we're heading to our favorite expansion, Battle for Azeroth. The reason for this is the Azerite trait called the Long Strider, which increases your movement speed by up to 7% depending on your highest secondary stat rating. The item level on the Azerite gear you get doesn't matter too much, as the movement speed caps at 7% for all eye levels, but it depends on your highest secondary stat, as the amount of speed you get per percent of secondary stat is higher, the higher eye level your Azerite piece is. You can solo farm BFA dungeons on Mythic to get the Mythic Azerite gear fairly easy. I do recommend maybe bringing a buddy if you're low geared. I was 221 and did it solo. I recommend farming a headpiece in Underrot, where you can skip most mobs and bosses, and also you can get a chance at the Underrot Croc mount from last boss. And then I recommend you farm the chest piece and shoulders in Toldagor, as they both drop from the same dungeon. This way your chances at receiving either one is increased. But there is a couple more dungeons that you can farm the different pieces in. Just check the dungeon loot table and you'll be good. Then I also want to talk about consumables. Of course, you want to have the Goblin Glider Kit. This is pretty much globally known to be a very good mobility tool, so you want these at all costs. As for some of the more unknown ones, you want the Potion of the Psychopomp's Speed, which I freaking love that name, which increases your movement speed by 70% for 8 seconds every 5 minutes. I absolutely love this in dungeons when I run out of mobility options, and it can also be used in random BGs, but not rated BGs, I'm afraid. And last but not least, you need the food called fried bonefish. So fried bonefish gives you increased movement speed whenever you kill a mob, which is very nice to have when spamming some old dungeons or leveling an alt, giving you almost a 100% uptime on about 30% movement speed. So yeah, that's about it for how to become a race car. When you combine all of this, you're going to be sitting at 131% permanent movement speed and 201% speed, about 7 out of 10 seconds, always. And then you're going to be having 6 heroic leaps and your Covenant mobility ability. If you followed along in the video, you'll have noticed that my speedrun is almost complete here in the background, and the speed build version is so far way faster. The speed version did a run in 2 minutes and 33 seconds. Meanwhile, during a normal run where I just spec'd to go as fast as possible but not using consumables or gear to help me, I ended up finishing the run in 3 minutes and 40 seconds. So the speed version was 1 minute and 7 seconds faster, which is about 43% faster in total. And you can probably do it even faster than I did, as I only did one attempt. Thank you very much for watching. Please leave a like if you're going to cap a flag in 6 heroic leaps, and have a wonderful day.